Am I the asshole for snapping at my fiance? My fiance, 34 male, and I, 36 female, have been together for 4 years, engaged for 3. Due to the pandemic he started driving me to work and picking me up. I moved offices and my commute is 30 million by car and would be 30 million by bus. I get reimbursement for the added mileage moving offices has caused. My fiancé works a 45 million drive away in the same direction as my office, so driving me into work adds on about 10 million, but picking me up adds 30 million at least. The story. My fiancé has been unhappy in his job for a long time, but he's having back issues and he's in pain a lot. As a result, he has gone from mildly annoyed with other people to openly angry. This includes daily rants in the car. He says that he would be home half an hour to an hour earlier if he didn't have to pick me up. When I tell him I can take the bus, he'll point out the global pandemic and say that he'll keep driving me into work. The issue happened 2 days ago. In the mornings, I get up at 5:15 to have a shower and to put his phone closer to him for the alarm. When I get out of the shower, he'll get up, have a smoke, then have a bath, during which time I'll make his lunch and drinks bottles for work, and I'll lay out his clothes and clean underwear. I also have to take a lateral flow test 2x a week, which I'll do then. I dry my own hair and put the hairdryer in his reach. I'll then sit and browse Reddit while he gets ready in our room. Admittedly, I have in past forgotten minor things. But 2 days ago I was on point. My fiancé was in a bad mood, but he always is, so I just carried on as usual. I had just finished putting away the hairdryer and unlocked my phone to browse for a few minutes while he got dressed when he snaps his fingers at me and says, paraphrasing, "Hey, now is not the time, put it away." I glared at him and, not wanting to slow things up more, put my bags on, picked up the laundry and went downstairs and into the garage. He has a cigarette before we leave. Where I told him that, while he just showers in the morning, I wash before him and take care of all the little things for him in the morning, and if he snaps his fingers at me again he can take care of his lunch himself. His response was to say that he wouldn't drive me to work. So I took out my phone and looked up the bus times, which he realized and said, "You're not taking the bus in. Don't you dare expose us like that." And I responded that I had to go into the office, so either he drove me or I would go by bus. He relented, and when I pointed out it's rude and disrespectful to snap your fingers at someone, he apologized, but he expressed that he didn't want to argue with me in the morning and that I know he's having a bad time at work and already is reluctant to even leave in the morning, so I should not make a big deal out of it. I felt bad and apologized for making his morning harder, but I don't know if I was the asshole by pointing out all I do to make his mornings easy. Am I the asshole? Edit. For added perspective, I'm not the easiest person to live with, as I have a terrible memory, so I will occasionally forget to bring up clothes or lay out fresh underwear. Example of my forgetfulness. I have a medication reminder on my phone and have still managed to forget taking my pill before leaving for work. He used to get upset when he asked me to reorder his repeat prescription, but he since realized that I am not responsible for remembering for him, so he keeps a closer eye on it. And he is a good guy, a genuinely loving and committed man who pushes me to take care of myself and speak my mind. We have our ups and downs, and this was a down, but we mesh well together and we are happy together. Second quick edit. For everyone who says he treats me like his mommy or his maid, my love language is taking care of someone. He knows this, and he did say the evening after that he appreciates me doing all that I do, and he said this morning that he's happy I do it so he can leave for work more relaxed, as it'd be hell otherwise. Also, I feel I have to add that before the pandemic I took the bus as a matter of personal pride. I am well used to public transport and hate being a burden to anyone. Not the asshole. Good lord, are you his fiancé or his maid and emotional punchbag? Not the asshole. Laying out his clothes and clean underwear? Also, you say, you've forgotten minor things in the past. What does he do when you forget minor things and are not on point? What the fuck is that all about? You are the asshole for putting up with serving his every need and putting yourself second. Would suggest a break from him so you can think through why you let someone treat you like that. Not the asshole. I'm reluctant to call him an asshole because he sounds utterly miserable, and physical pain can really wear a person down, especially on top of work stress. But his attitude is not fair on you, and he needs to recognize that. Is taking a break a possibility? It sounds like he's really burned out. You sound like his mommy getting him ready for school. You lay out his clothes? Are you engaged to a toddler? Not the asshole, but rethink this whole thing. I suspect you're overcompensating for feeling badly about him driving you in. Don't. Not the asshole. What the hell have I just read? Apologizing to him for making his morning harder, when he's treating you like a literal servant, is insane, and him having a hard time at work is not nearly a good enough reason to do so. You're being emotionally abused, Op. He is manipulating you into thinking you're in the wrong, when the reality is that he is solely responsible for creating this toxic situation. He needs to realize how unhealthy this is. Get himself some professional help to deal with his stress levels and look for another job. Not the asshole. Are you his mommy? To eliminate the obvious solution, why can't you drive instead, and drop him off? Am I the asshole for secretly reapplying for university? So a few weeks ago I, 19F, decided to reapply for my dream university and course and only let my closest friends know. That's because last year when I was first applying for university, I had applied for this course in uni and had an offer for it. My mum had been seemingly okay with this until a point at which she started sending messages while I was on nights out with friends saying she wasn't going to support me doing that course, and it ended in a big ultimatum showdown of her screaming at me to change course or leave the house. I had nowhere to go as my grandparents were also of the same opinion and my friends, while supportive, weren't in a position to be able to take me in. Additionally, my mum is a single parent. We're actually very close, though since that time last year I would say it's more of a superficial relationship now, as I no longer feel able to tell her anything, including about my anxiety and hate for my current uni course. Since it really came down to either changing course or losing my family, I changed course. Declined the offer for my dream place, chose a new one that they approved of, and off I went to uni. I've been miserable the whole year. I've spent most of my time at home since I never went on my uni campus even once, and my flatmates were people I didn't get along with, so I moved back home after a few weeks as I didn't need to be there anyway. Before you say that maybe I hated uni because of how it was affected by COVID, I already know that it may have made a difference. However, it wouldn't have changed the course, which is what I really just hated the most. So that's how I came to breaking point and decided I would reapply for the dream course. Since I didn't actually expect to get an offer, I didn't think there was much point telling my mum just to cause friction over something that may or may not happen. Plot twist. I actually got the offer. I still was hesitant about telling her due to how she reacted last time, but friends had offered me places to stay if I did get kicked out, so I decided rather than spend the summer anxiously hoping she doesn't find out in her own, I would tell her. She didn't take it very well. Though she didn't kick me out of the house this time, I've been staying with a friend for a few days hoping it might cool things down a little. She told me she was disgusted with me, that I was unbelievably selfish and ungrateful after all she's done to raise me, and that I've really stabbed her in the back this time. I do know that my mum and grandparents have done a lot for me and I'm really grateful to them for that, but do I really need to repay this by living my life the way they want me to? Am I the asshole for secretly doing all of this? Edit. Gosh, thank you all for your comments. I realized I didn't actually say what subjects I'm talking about, which is probably useful information. My dream course is Korean language. I'm currently doing criminology and psychology. I'd like to go into translation and interpretation or possibly teaching, not too certain yet, but I definitely do not want to do anything related to criminology or psychology. Not the asshole. It's your life, not theirs. It sounds like they are trying to live vicariously through you. Info. What do they find so bad about your dream course and university? Not the asshole. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess your dream course is in the arts, humanities, creative arts. Whatever it is, go for it, enjoy it, and smash it. What on earth are you studying to make her react this way? Advanced prostitution? Matricide? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Being an adult means making your own choices and living your own life. Good for you for taking steps toward being independent. Not the asshole. Adulthood is not a reward they'll give you for being a good child. You need to live your life. This thing is a choice that belongs to you, and you made changes so that you could have it. Frankly, that makes you amazing, and if you were my kid, I would be so proud of you that my friends would find me unbearable. Info. I'm not implying you're the but just to fill out the picture, is your mother paying for your studies? What is your dream course? What did she want you to study? You're not the asshole for applying, and doing the course you want. Your mum and grandparents' behavior is disgusting. They don't even have to support you, but the least they could do is STF you about it. Not the asshole. 19. Time to choose your own path. Ideally mum would support this, but good on you for making mature decisions to follow what you want and do what will bring you satisfaction in life. Mum should support you with this course, but as unfair as it is, you may need to support yourself through this course. Also, if this course costs more and Mum cannot afford it, then it really is up to you to at least cover those costs by making a plan to work part-time. Am I the asshole for moving out before 2 of my roommates and taking the Wi-Fi plan with me? I, 21F, lease a house with 5 other women around my age. 2 of the 5 have already moved out in May and June. We'll call them A and T. My friend and I plan on moving out in the next 2 weeks, which leaves the other 2, K and M, as the last ones to move out. Due to a week's worth of construction on the house, K and M opted not to live here for months and drop all of the repairs they were scheduled to oversee on my friend and myself. A and T were pretty useless and were constantly out of the house, which K and M knew when they made their decision to leave for months. Additionally, they had left me and my friend with all of this when we were in the middle of finals week. M is graduated and was working remote. K is in law school and had finals much later at the time of the construction. K and M had zero consideration for me and my friend. Now we had chats in the past about who was going to use the house in June and July based on the sake of utilities. K and M pretty much said they don't plan on being around, and in their words, don't plan on using the house. Yesterday in a group chat with the house, I stated that I was moving out on July 14, July 17 to my new apartment and was taking my internet plan with me. K and M immediately exploded on me because they planned on living here for a week while they move out and work remote. I genuinely had no idea that they planned to live here respectively for over 10 days, because they indicated they wouldn't be using the house. They snapped and said I was stupid for thinking they could move out in 24 hours, which isn't the case because I thought they would be able to live without internet for a weekend. Or that they were going to take trips back and forth for their stuff like the other tenants that moved out. I tried talking with them about what to do, but K is only aggressive and points fingers. M is basically spineless and hides behind K. Their main argument is that they work remote. I explained that I too now have to work remote because my boss had a medical emergency that prevents me from going into work, and if I leave the internet at this house then I'm living in my new place without internet for over 10 days since they both decided to live here for overlapping weeks. I also pointed out that they said in past conversations that they didn't plan on using the house in July, and have not lived in the house since March. They settled down after I pointed those house, but they are still pissed off. I'm beginning to feel bad, because I definitely should have notified them sooner. It was wrong of me to assume they could move out over a few weekends. But they have also dropped months' worth of house repairs that have impacted my grades on me in the past. I also think it's wildly unfair they expected me to plan my move-out time around them so they could keep using my internet plan. I don't have the funds available to have 2 plans at 2 different addresses for a month. Am I the asshole for taking my internet plan with me when I move out and not leaving it behind for them? Edit 1. Spelling error. Edit 2. Added context in 3rd paragraph. Not the asshole. Don't get caught up in who works remote, who needs what. This is your service, under your name, it goes where you go. You are moving out. They have been advised, they need to make their own arrangements. Not the asshole. K and M are learning a lesson called, F around find out. They effed around by breezily saying they wouldn't be around, and now they're suddenly shocked. Shocked, I say. Because you took what they said into consideration when making your own transition plans from the house. Move. Take the internet with you, and put those 2 on DND in your phone. Not the asshole. They're grown and need to sort their own shit. You're grown and need to work. It's your account. Therefore, the Wi-Fi goes with you. It's not hard to follow that logic, they just don't wanna. They're too used to you pulling the whole workload. Now's a good time to put that entire habit to rest. Not the asshole. Good luck on your move. Not the asshole. They have enough notice to make other arrangements, including a temporary hotspot from their employers, or funding a hotspot themselves. All extraneous information can be ignored. Doesn't matter about the construction or the repairs or the finals or where they work or how much or how little time they've spent in the apartment. Not the asshole. They literally told you they wouldn't be using the house. They know you're moving. No reasonable-minded person would expect someone to pay for internet where they don't live. They're embarrassed that they didn't fully plan their move out. They know you're leaving. They can snag some internet for the overlap that they'll be in the house for. NTA. They can work from a coffee shop, library, or their offices. Not the asshole. They aren't the least bit considerate of you, so why would you do them a favor? They have 2 weeks at least to get internet set up at the old house in one of their names. Or they could work from wherever they were working the past few months. You have no obligation to leave them your plan, and since they don't respect you, no reason to help them out. Not the asshole. They said they weren't going to use the house, they don't have a leg to stand on. Besides that, it's normal to take the internet that you are paying for when you move, so regardless they should have foreseen that and planned appropriately. Am I the asshole for keeping my food off limits? I'll try to keep this brief, but here's some backstory. I, 18F, live at home, and so does my brother, 22M. I was supposed to move out after graduation so I could live closer to my university, about an hour away, but because of COVID classes went online, so I'm still at home. My parents have a rule: if we're going to school, we don't pay rent. This means that we live rent-free for the majority of the year. I'm grateful for it, especially since the only place I've been able to find work is part-time minimum wage, where my hours are getting slashed within an inch of their life, and since I still have to pay my phone bill, car stuff, gas, etc. My family and I keep butting heads about food, though. If my brother or I eat something that my parents bought, they don't care. I should probably mention that even though they refuse to buy certain things, bread that isn't whole wheat, bagels, cheese, basically anything they deem too processed or unhealthy, they have no problem eating it if I buy it. The whole situation came to a head over processed cheese slices because my dad went to make burgers and said, "There's 2 left, one for each of us," to my mom, and I gently pointed out that, "Hey, I actually paid for those." He flipped out and started talking about how it shouldn't matter who is buying what, because they have a mortgage to take care of, and I'm living rent-free, which is fair. But on the other side, I'm making next to nothing, and both of my parents have careers and are well established in their field. I don't know the specifics of the financial situation, but I know that if they couldn't afford to have us both live here and eat their food, they wouldn't. He started asking how I would feel if they said that I couldn't eat food purchased by anyone other than me, and kept challenging me to call something my food one more time and see what happens, and telling me he doesn't give a shit who paid for it when it's all going in the same fridge. Not quite verbatim, but that's exactly what he meant, and pretty much what he said. It's frustrating because I know how much food costs, and I know that when you break down what % of income goes towards it, me buying food actually hits my wallet pretty hard sometimes, since I'm not just grabbing a burger. I'm actually buying ingredients and meals that I enjoy, and, again, they refuse to purchase. I get that I might be the asshole for laying claim to something when I'm living here for free, again, am grateful for it. But at the same time, I'm an adult and it's my money being spent. It feels like they can't decide if I'm a roommate or a 12-year-old that they need to monitor closely and teach the meaning of sharing, too. Reddit, am I the asshole for not wanting my family to touch my food? ETA. While I'm definitely grateful for the housing, this is a very common situation for our area. Not to shit on their generosity, but basically everyone I know is in the same situation, unless their parents were shitty enough that they left, which is what I'm trying to do. You are the asshole. You're an adult and living there rent-free, and you begrudge your dad 2 slices of processed cheese. Really? You know, you can buy a mini fridge for $100 and keep your food in your room if you feel the need. But if it's in the house fridge, and you and your brother are living rent-free, your dad should be perfectly fine to consider any food in there that he did not buy as a donation to the house. A little bit. You are the asshole. You are living rent-free in your parents' home. They are paying the mortgage, electricity, water, sewer and internet bills and doing the majority of the groceries for the entire family. While I appreciate your frustration, your father made it pretty clear if you want to pay for your own food, you're going to pay for everything you eat, and he may start to charge you rent. They don't have to let you live in their home at all. You're illegally an adult. I am concerned you may not like the consequences of being territorial about food you purchase. From the post, it seems like you never established ground rules for your own food. Hey, I'm gonna use this for a recipe, could you guys not use it? I would say how you feel about food is also making yourself like a roommate. My food is mine, yours is yours. Your dad might have been a bit too extra with his outburst, but I'm assuming you're still eating their food. In terms of cheese, you could have asked him to buy more because you were going to use that. But by claiming ownership over 2 slices of cheese, compared to everything they gave you, I can see how it comes off as ungrateful in his eyes. Dad blew up a bit too much, but I think you're also being a bit too much of a stickler. You are not the asshole. What a bunch of craven hypocrites. They won't buy it because it's unhealthy, but that sure as shit doesn't stop them from eating it. It's especially galling that they'd eat the last of something you bought without considering you. They're like the loud vegans who will vault over you for a slice of pepperoni pizza after a couple of drinks. Please move to your university as soon as you possibly can. Not the asshole did you say it accusatory or matter-of-factly. It could have just been your tone, maybe. Either way, they shouldn't be eating food they are morally against buying. That seems hypocritical. Info. Do you eat the food your parents are buying also? Info. You said you eat food they buy. Do you purchase the same stuff they buy and you eat? Or are you only buying the things that they don't? You are the asshole. They are saving way more money than the food by living rent-free and are eating food they buy. I would just let it go and not let it cause strife.